Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I like that angle, so let's do it again. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I recently went apartment shopping for this current apartment that I'm living in. I had a big falling out with my former roommate because he made breaking up with his girlfriend seem so dramatic. He had two dramatic breakups in the space of 3 weeks. And so it really worked against my mental health to see breaking up being like that. I really despise how people break up. I wish people didn't break up from relationships. People graduated from them, gain new experiences, use them on the next relationship. That's how I like to view breaking up, right? Actually, I have a funny story. One of my students, I'm a tutor, one of my students is a big fan of Taylor Swift. And I told him that I feel happy for Taylor Swift that she graduates from this relationship. In fact, I think history may show this month is when she begins the biggest relationship in her life. Well, it remains to be seen. He got really confused about that. He thought it was an April Fool's joke. That's the society we live in, and I can't be around that because it will work wonders to my mental health. And so I ended up leaving that apartment. So I was shopping for this apartment on Facebook Marketplace. And as I'm talking to my future roommates, I discover you can gain a lot of things, not from what these people are telling you, but from reading in between the lines. What are these people doing during the weekend? What are these people doing as their favorite sport, as a hobby? You know, uh, their worldviews on things, right? You talk to them about what's going on in the news, even talking about the weather and how they view it, right? Is a storm that's happening right now, is that a blessing or a curse, right? So even things like that can tell you a lot about the person behind the screen. And my inspiration was that wow, everything we say can and will be used against you, especially anytime you're doing business, right? When you're looking for a potential future roommate, a potential future coworker, an employer, all of that can be used against you if need be. And it made me very cautious at my current job. I recently had to change jobs as well because of toxicity, and it made me really, really, really think. Behind this, anytime you talk, you let out a little bit about your religious views, certainly about your political views, your world views, and so it made me really want to avoid casual conversations at work because there really isn't any casual conversation. We're all trying to know a little bit about everybody else, and if you stop to think about it, it's impossible to talk without letting out a little bit about of your political views and your religious views, right? And so I was debating whether or not I should leave the cafeteria during the lunch break, but my time is so precious. Having to commute somewhere for lunch really eats up a lot of my lunch time. And so lately, I've been trying to just be completely silent, ghost people when they come to talk to me. But I completely failed to realize that some people won't let that go. And also, the act of ghosting somebody also lets out a little bit about yourself, right? So I'm gonna have to think hard about that. But the big ones to avoid sharing at the were obviously your political views, your religious views. I would argue any health conditions that you have as well. The problem with health is that sometimes it really does intersect with the workplace, right? For example, I have food allergies, and at the cafeteria, I kind of have to tell people, right? That's the unfortunate thing, right? But certainly, if you have something that can be hidden from people, right? Don't tell more than you have to. Let's put it that way. Just tell people that you need to avoid a certain food. Don't tell why. Don't tell. For example, for me, it's because I have autism. I do really well avoiding coming into contact with certain things. But just leave it at, oh, I need to avoid that stuff. Thank you for keeping your food neat, right? Th- be as minimal as possible with that. Now it's really unfortunate because our workplaces are so social, but at the same time, everything you say can and will be used against you. I always remind myself that every time I go to the cafeteria, anytime I go near the water cooler, remember everything you say can and will be used against you. Speak accordingly, right? That's the unfortunate part. Um, but then I learned it when I was interviewing my roommate that even talking about the weather, the sports, about Taylor Swift's breakup, even that I used against him. He didn't know that. He thought it was a casual conversation about Taylor Swift. It wasn't. Anyways, that's something I realized while I was recently moving. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.